Hey everybody, this is Aaron the Pedantic, and today I'm going to be doing something that's a little bit weird. I am going to be talking about RPG stuff eventually. I'm going to get there. But really, what I wanted to address is just something that I think is important. I feel like a lot of people are very rude in a lot of aspects of life, and RPGs, there's no exception there. I'm not talking about anybody in particular. If you think I'm talking about you, we'll just say, yes, I'm talking about you, because chances are you might be doing the thing that I'm talking about. And yeah. So, and I'm not even not talking about myself. I am prone to being rude sometimes. I think that it's just something that people do. You know, we have bad days, we have good days. Some people are habitually rude. Some people are rude because that's part of their persona that they try to maintain for one reason or another. Maybe it gets them some kind of popularity. Maybe it's amusing to people. Who knows? A lot of people, it seems that it's self gratifying to be rude to people, to tear them down. Some people, it's you throw in some righteous indignation. Maybe they're rude about certain things that they're passionate about, and they think that other people are just awful for not believing the same things and all that kind of stuff. Maybe they just have serious anger problems. Who knows? People are rude for all kinds of different reasons. But what I would like to do is just implore people to think about being considerate. One of the things that really stuck with me whenever I was reading some Plato back in the day was ironically kind of a very small part of the apology of Socrates. For those who don't know, basically it is this speech that Socrates gave, trying to defend himself whenever they were wanting to put him to death for corrupting the youth. And one of the statements that he made, one of the points that he raised, was that he wouldn't harm the community because it would inevitably bring harm to himself. And I think that this is something that a lot of people, especially in the online environment, have a very easy way of sidestepping. If you think about it, anonymity is something that protects you from the community. You know, you're not going to be annoying the crap out of your neighbors and then, just walking outside and dealing with your neighbors. Instead, half the time we're annoying people that don't have any idea who we are or where we come from. Our chances of running into them again on accident are exceptionally rare, especially whenever we can essentially make them disappear from our lives forever if we wish to. So you're kind of free from that. But there is something else to consider. I mean, this is really just my own personal opinion, and I don't have anything to back it up really. But I think that there may be deeper harm in indulging in that kind of behavior. This kind of I'm consequence free, so what the heck? Let's just do it. We're just gonna do it. I do believe in virtue ethics that it is our actions that kind of that define who we are and how good we are as people. That we should try and strengthen our virtues and weaken our vices. I think that those are very important things and really, ironically, professing as much really doesn't mean anything because you have to live by those ethics in order for them to matter. You can't just say that you do the thing; you have to do the thing. And a lot of times, people that profess that they do the thing, they profess too much. Um, I think that it's important. It builds character. Rather than saying that we should all be nice, which is really what I'm probably going to put the thumbnail as because it looks nicer and I can use the nice guy comic. But rather than saying that, I would say being considerate is something that builds virtue because in a lot of ways, when it comes to being considerate, you're not being a pushover. Being nice is often conflated with being a pushover, just letting people steamroll you because either you don't have the spine to stand up for yourself or maybe you have some just overall just insane need to satisfy absolutely everybody. You don't want to disappoint anybody. Being considerate is a little bit deeper than that. You be firm whenever you have to, but you make sacrifices when necessary and you help others whenever you can. Because again, you want to build your virtues. Doing things for others is a virtuous act. And doing things selfishly, sometimes it's for self-preservation, and that's understandable. Sometimes it is just because you don't care, and I would consider that to be heading in the direction of a vice. Now, I don't have a degree in ethics or philosophy or anything like that, so don't come at me with, actually do come at me with more accurate statements, perhaps more citations, um, more profound things, because I would love to see that kind of stuff in the comments. Even if you have links to blog entries, a lot of times YouTube tries to throw those away, but I can try and retrieve them. It really doesn't like hyperlinks for some reason. Anyway, so what I was trying to go to then is being considerate is probably the thing that I would go for. If you are considerate and you are consistent about it, this makes you genuine. It makes you a genuine person. It makes you worthy of people's trust. They have an understanding of who you are, which, true, you can get an understanding of who someone is just by them being incredibly nasty all the time. You can very well estimate exactly where they're going to be in various situations if they are consistent with it. But if you are consistent with being genuine, then people not only know where you stand, but they're more likely to consider what you have to say. I personally can't think of a time that I really wanted to try something or agree with something or believe in something that someone was telling me who I despised for one reason or another. It doesn't mean that I wouldn't accept it, because I do think that it's important to be open-minded, but I usually would give it a little bit less merit. Whenever I think of RPGs in particular that I've tried, it wasn't Adam Coble who got me to try out Dungeon World. It was several friends in the OSR who were just like, yeah, I've tried it. It's really pretty neat. There's some things I like about it. You should give it a try. Those are the ones that kind of pulled me over. Before that, I was like, I really don't have any terrible interest in it. And another thing to consider is well, we've already talked about what is the point? What do you get from it? But as I mentioned before, whenever it's something that's kind of high stakes, then it's understandable that people might feel some kind of righteous indignation about, wanting to be rude about people's opinions and things like that. RPG discussion is very low stakes. I mean, what is really going to change in people's lives based on us having different opinions on whether DM fiat is a good thing or a bad thing? If the players should have more control over the setting, whether or not you should use safety tools and etc. All this kind of stuff. How high are the stakes there really? There just isn't a lot of need for all of the vitriolic behavior that we see in the hobby. So to conclude, I guess what I would say is that I care selfishly about whether or not the OSR prospers. And I think the OSR will prosper more if we have more people representing it that are more likable, people that are willing to engage in faithful discussions with other people, to not just constantly berate them with the detriments of how they do things, but to instead just try and show the virtues of how we do things. When I say we, I mean everybody that's under the umbrella, which means all kinds of different play styles that fall under it. And there are many. And a lot of times we're at war with each other. And maybe we should be a little bit cooler about things, is what I'm trying to say. If you don't care about growing the OSR, I'm not going to put some kind of moralistic onus upon you. I'm not going to say that you have to do it or else you're a bad person or anything like that. If you don't care, then you don't care. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I just think that if you do care, then maybe you should consider, trying to help people out in that capacity. Just try to be more considerate whenever you are promoting the OSR, whenever you're promoting things that you like, especially whenever you're promoting things that you actually care about. When I say care about, I mean things that can really change people's lives. That's whenever I think people should really consider this, especially in a time when I'm constantly seeing a lot of people just badger and just be cruel about the idea that being nice has anything positive about it. Instead, trying to suggest that it's just being lazy or approving of the status quo or something of that caliber. No, we can just lead by example. And people will be more likely to want to consider what we have to say if they think that we could be a good person. That's all for this one. I know this is kind of weird, but it's been in my head. And now it's out of my head. So let's hear what you have to say in the comments. Y'all take it easy. Have a wonderful day.